Hey guys, my name is Loveless, and this time we are here with a crack fic. Actual crack fic, or at least what I would call one. So, this one is Like a Light Switch by Plants and Paints. So, this one, when I was reading it, I was like on the floor. I thought it was gonna die. I couldn't see through the tears that I was crying because I was laughing so hard. Oh my god. Um, so I had to calm down enough. It took me like 20 minutes to calm down enough to actually record this. But we gonna do this. It's gonna be funny, or at least to me it is. Alright. Everyone thought it was just an off day. Or, well, Shoto did. As did Yutaraka and Ida. I mean, what else are you supposed to think when Bakugo Katsuki enters a room with a neatly tied tie and looks over to Kirishima's shoulder like he actually is interested in what he's doing? When the classroom door swings open with enough force to shake the room and probably the next four rooms down as well, Midoriya scans the room with a glower, his face the pinnacle of murderous intent, above a partially unbuttoned, tieless uniform. "Good morning, Uzu-chan," Bakugo chirps, and Shoto nearly falls out of his chair because Bakugo Katsuki does not fucking chirp. Put a fucking sock in it, nerd. And Shoto does fall out his chair this time. What quirk did this, and how long until it stops being a thing? Stop looking at me. Your face is making me want to punch something. Kaminari looks up towards the ceiling, confused, fear, and despair written plainly across his face. Did I die and go to hell? Is that what this is? If her murmuring is anything to go by, Yagirosu has decided to pull Shirazaki and started praying to whatever deity she believes in. Kirishima looks absolutely terrified. By the time Aizawa enters the room, Bakugo is in the midst of a highly animated conversation with Aoyama about the logistics of his quirk, and Midoriya sits with his feet on the desk, glaring at anyone who tries to get within 5 feet of him. Aizawa makes the decision Shoto probably would have made if he hadn't gotten here after the pair, spinning on his heels and immediately leaving the room. "No, Shota, you're the teacher. You can't just leave us like this. You're getting paid for this." The muttered mantra barely reaches Shoto's ears as the teacher re-enters the room, face a blank slate, ignoring the radiating animosity that is Midoriya or the puppy-like nature of Bakugo's current demeanor. How he does it? Shoto has no clue. Denki has never felt more fear in his life than the moment Ashido starts running her hands through Bakugo's hair during a break, braiding it and just ruffling it. He actually fears for her life until Bakugo rolls his eyes back in his head and pushes up into her hand slightly. "That feels really nice," he mumbles, smiling softly. "Is he serious?" Kirishima breathes, reaching a tentative hand, gasping in surprise when Bakugo shoves his head onto his palm like a needy cat. He's serious." A pause. "Holy shit, bros. His hair's really soft." Zero adds his hand to the mix, quickly followed by Denki, and that's what Cemento gets to walk in on. 4 teens petting the hair of their normally violent, shockingly docile 15-year-old. Ochako thought it was bad when Deku told All Might exactly where he could put his guidelines for the exercise in great detail, using step-by-step how-to guide with pictures and a rather well-made PowerPoint presentation. When did he have the time to make that? But then lunchtime arrived. It took a bit more convincing, but she, Tsuyu, Ida, and Todoroki finally managed to convince their friend to sit with them. Evidently, Shinso joins them too. Ochako thinks it's pretty cool how Deku was able to befriend him when he seemed so dead set on not having friends. Maybe Deku doesn't notice his presence? He doesn't even look up from his food when Shinso sits next to him. When Bakugo starts approaching, Ochako peeks out from behind Deku, knowing it's going to be a good show. Whoa, UA's very own Pomeranian get over his pride enough to talk to lowlives such as our motley crew? I'm touched. Shinso drawls, sarcasm rich in his tone. Needless to say, Ochako nearly chokes on her drink when Bakugo's expression takes on a quality of hurt. Wait, are those tears in his eyes? I wanted to, he's going to cry. He's actually going to cry. I just wanted to tell you your hair looks nice today. What was that for? Deku cracks his neck as he moves his glare towards the blonde, slamming his palm on the table. Why can't I get a single fucking second away from you, dipshit? He snarls, standing up. The way Bakugo shrieks back allows Deku to tower over him before the former scurries away. The remaining oddly turns his attention to Shinso as he sat down. And what the hell do you want, pencil neck? Shinso looks more alert than Ochako has ever seen him, leaning away from Deku in startled fear. What happened? He hisses around his current antagonist. Todoroki and Ochako both shrug. I assume it's some sort of quirk. Ida poses, bringing Deku's wrath upon his head. What a brave little martyr. Wow, Sonic, you're hell of a lot denser than I give you credit for. Deku barks a laugh that really sounds like it should be coming from Bakugo. Did you really not realize it was an act the entire time? Really? That drippy-eyed, wobbly-lipped, hero-worshipping bullshit? God, I couldn't stand it. I don't know how Explodey Bitch does it all the time. He grabs a strawberry from Todoroki's plate, flipping him off and popping it into his mouth with a shit-eating grin. A cold wind blows across his table, making each occupant freeze. A gentle thud as Ochako turns around, singing Monoma smirk behind Deku, like he's proud of himself. Oh, sorry, 1A, he jeers. Deku's eyes twitch and little sparks of lightning dance across his skin. Run, Todoroki orders, wide-eyed. What? He doesn't move fast enough. Deku springs over the back of the bench with a roar. That's fucking it, you shitty fax machine, he bellows as Monoma drops his tray, scrambling for the exit. I'll fucking kill you! Ochako actually thinks he might. Midoriya! Shinso shouts as Deku gets his hand on the blonde shirt. The monster in Bunny's clothing whips around, not releasing his prey. What the hell? Sit down, now! It's been a hot second since Ochako has seen Shinso use his quirk. It's scary to think he felt he had to use it on Deku. The quirk's target lets go of Monoma, allowing the latter to fall flat on his back as the former sinks to the ground, sitting cross-legged. Monoma looks like his life has flashed before his eyes in the montage formed of shitty background music. I thought Bakugo was the rabid one, he wheezes, grabbing his chest to check that his heart is still beating. So did we, Ochako replies. Shinso, how long should that last? The Gen Ed student shrugs. A few more minutes, so long as no one jolts him. But he did break out of it before. I don't know how long we have. I recommend getting this dumbass far, far away from him. Smack. Tell me about your quirk. As a rather tall and visible muscular second year, Ryu never thought he'd face with a small green first year holding a notebook menacingly after hitting him once with it, demanding info on his quirk. When he doesn't respond immediately, he gets another hit. Any day now, sunshine. The boy winds up one more time before the blonde, a few inches taller than him, grabs his arm with a panicked expression. Uzu-chan, leave the second years alone. We gotta have respect for our elders. We ain't gotta do a goddamn thing. Now get off me. The first guy swings his arm, throwing the newcomer flat on his back before stomping off. As soon as he's back on his feet, the second first year starts to apologizing profusely before running after the first. What the hell? Midoriya, you can't just... God, I never thought I would give this speech to you of all people. You can't attack other students for no reason. And you can't sleep the entirety of the class. But yet, that has yet to stop you, you insomniatic fucking hobo. Midoriya croons, posture cocky and tone even more so. Shota's just about ready to throttle him. He normally has pretty good control over his emotions. Midoriya's just pushing him over the edge. This argument has been going on for 6.5 minutes. Would you like to pay a visit to Nezu? The teacher threatens. I'd learn more from him in 5 goddamn minutes than I have in the past school year in this class, so gladly. The child has the audacity to turn on his heels and march out, flipping Shota the bird on both hands. I'm sorry about him, sir, Bakugo says quickly. I riled him up at lunch. It's my fault. I should go too. The blonde hurries out after the other student, leaving Shota in a state of utter confusion. What the fuck are you following me, asshole? Get lost! What's going on with those two? As soon as the pair open the door, Nezu breaks into an impressed smile. You actually got one of them to send you to me? Midoriya beams, as if this is something to be proud of. Nezu, suppose it is, as it was a goal he set for the pair when they told him about this little experiment. Aizawa, to be precise. Nezu damn near spits out his teeth. You... Bakugo smirks, cocky expression looking so much more at home there than the fake, sweet, and nervous act he had going on. I was almost proud of the little dickhead. I'll admit he could play a part pretty damn well. But I don't swear that much, Deku. That is a lie and we both know it, Kanchan. A devilish smirk crosses Midoriya's face. So, do you actually like having your hair played with? If you tell a soul, I will murder you. The shorter of the two laughed. That's illegal, and you won't have Shinso as a plausible excuse for carrying through with it. That's a development. Skeptical, Nezu glances between the two first years. Shinso was in on this? Midoriya nods, still grinning. If I wasn't the one who asked him, I might not have known. He's really good at acting. I'm not sure what I would have done during lunch if he wasn't there. I really didn't want to end up sending Monoma to Recovery Girl. She would have skinned me alive. His co-conspirator snorts, which earns him a curious look. You break yourself enough. It's not like she needs you breaking other people too. That earns him a quick elbow to the gut. Maybe Netsu will have to award Shinso some extra credit points too. 5 points to Bakugo and Midoriya's GPA for fooling everyone the entire day, and 3 to Shinso for even fooling him. He hopes the pair has fun explaining this tomorrow. Izuku greets, a good-natured smile in place, acting as if nothing happened. His tie is on straight, his buttons are all buttoned, and he's wearing his usual cheeriness rather than the shroud of simmering rage and annoyance he bore just 24 hours earlier. He's met with just as many weird looks as he was yesterday. Gachan follows closely behind, shouldering Izuku out his way. You walk too slow, Deku. He grumbles, tossing his bag at his seat before sliding into the chair, putting his feet up. As Izuku slips into his seat behind the blonde, he flicks the back of his head. You don't need to be so mean, Kachan. Try that again and I'll... Izuku rakes his hand through Kachan's hair before he can finish his threat. Kirishi was right. His hair is really soft. Be nice, murmured the green ant, dragging his nails across his classmate's scalp. When his hand leaves the blonde mess, Kachan turns to him with a glare lacking its usual heat. I hate you. I know. There's a distinct level of power that comes with installing instinctual fear in someone. Izuku learns this the next time he sees Monoma. The blonde trips Kaminari in the hall, who Izuku catches by the back of his uniform. That's rude. The current holder of One for All admonishes. Monoma regards him at first with contempt, then fear as soon as he realized who he was looking at. He bolts without a word. Sure, Izuku doesn't like scaring people, but he would prefer to be able to keep his classmates from being picked on. Thanks, Midoriya, Kaminari says once he's been righted. Yep. Deku, what happened yesterday? Yutaraka asks as she, Ida, and Izuku return to the dorms. Izuku pulls on the mask of confusion. What do you mean? He asks innocently enough. Did something happen? Shinso, Kachan, and Izuku agreed not to speak of yesterday in case they do it again. It's liberating to be able to release some anger like that. Kachan seems a bit more relaxed after that day of not having to walk around with a stick up his ass. Shinso was just in it for the show. What's so difficult for you idiots to understand? Katsuki snarled. Him and the rest of his band of misfits sit on the floor of his room, studying for tomorrow's math test. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. And tan is opposite over adjacent. So kata shit. He glares to his right at Kirishima, whose left hand plays with Katsuki's hair while his right tries to figure out the problem in front of him. Relax, Bakubro. We'll get it eventually, he says in a gentle voice, giving him a smile and a sidelong glance. Katsuki really wishes he didn't let those two losers in on his... Oh, damn. Those feel nice. Everything seems fine. Well, until... Fucking move it, Po! Midoriya growls at Tokiyami, who's standing in the doorway to the kitchen. Oh no, Ichiro thinks, ignoring the fact that his eggs are probably burning. Not again. So, we finally got to the end of this crack fic, which was what I would consider a crack fic, because I was dying laughing reading this, because it's like, oh my god, it's like, am I in an alternate universe? Did I just die and go to hell? Like, this is impossible for this to even happen. Yeah. Pretty much that was my mindset throughout the whole thing. It was so difficult to actually record this because I was too busy laughing. Yeah, it was... I had to use like all of my acting skills in this, and even then it's like you can tell that I was laughing most of the time. But so that should be about it. So if you want to see more of this, I should do like Molly next. Like I'm planning on doing Molly or Clerk Knife next, either or, plan to do them anyway. But if you want to see more of this, you know what to do.